I had to quickly stop and start the stream. I forgot to add in delay for the stream. I don't want to be streaming this zero delay. No, although I don't stream sniping from each other. So I'll restart what I originally said. So Li Ming is kind of a bait ban where that leaves Thug Money Squad the ability to choose Zag. And Zag is probably the number one ban at this point. She's one of the highest win rate heroes. So you'll see Zag either taken or banned pretty much 100% of the time. If she actually makes it through a draft without being picked up or banned, pretty amazing. So you always need a strong top laner. And in this case, Thug Money Squad has chosen Falstad, who can reliably be your solo top lane. And they have now also picked up Sonya, who could also be a solo top lane. Falstad just provides the mobility where he can just jump wherever he needs. So if he's in the mid to bottom rotation, he'll pick up more stacks of Gathering Storm. And he can still go and fly top to help Sonya at any point. With Zul rotation from mid to bottom, they're going to apply a ton of pressure. And with Brightwing, they essentially get the counter for the global presence that Thug Money Squad has already picked up. Now, some people love Brightwing, and some people don't love Brightwing. I tend to fall into the side that I don't I don't really love Brightwing, but I see value in the fact that she has a global. So Rhaegar is now the counter pickup here, and Thug Money Squad has extra lane clear now from Rhaegar. I mean, the lightning shield he provides, and the fact that he's one of the best healers in the game. I mean, your two go-to healers pretty much are Rhaegar there and now Oriel. So Sylvanas has now been banned out by We Play for Keeps. This is pretty smart ban. I don't know if they would have actually picked her up. They already have some good wave clear. Sylvanas would have just made it even better and stronger. And you can also do some cheese gimmick things where you can go push S5, push S4, whatever you want, and snipe off a tower. Especially if you pick it off in the top lane. If you pick off the top lane tower, your solo laner now has a much easier time pushing down that wave. And ETC is the counter ban coming out from Thug Money Squad. ETC is, one of those traditional hero bans where if you don't want to deal with the scariness of Mosh, you just ban them out. They do have the counter at this point with Falstad, but they don't have that much else on the table at this point in time. So Muradin is going to be the tank of choice for We Play for Keeps right now. Nothing out of the ordinary by picking up a Muradin. He's essentially most balanced tank in the game, seeing a 50% win rate in packs, and just having stayed in this meta and every meta pretty much for eternity. So they're still thinking about who else they want. They need damage right now. Zul isn't damage, so they're picking up Thrall. So they're going to have Thrall as their solo laner to contend with Sonya. So Thug Money Squad, if they were sitting there thinking about what they wanted to do, probably said, if we pick up Sonya, they're going to have to pick up Thrall. There's not too many other people they can pick up, especially since they already have Falstad. Zag was banned out. And so who are you going to lane against Sonya? Traditionally, Thrall is who you would lane against Sonya if you have no other choices. And so we'll probably be seeing then Falstad sitting mid to bottom rotations, getting those Gathering Storm stacks, and they'll now need a mage to pick this up. So Jaina is a very smart pickup here because now they've taken another mage off the table. And with triple melee, Jaina is going to be able to control those heroes much better than someone like a KT would. Every time she hits them, they're going to just be running and getting kited endlessly. And Rhaegar on top of that will have his totem additionally provide more kiting capability and more catching potential. So the combination of all these things should provide a Thug Money Squad a very, very strong engagement engage and disengage, either by Falstad gusting, Rhaegar dropping a totem, Jaina using Blizzard and Frostbolts, and finally we're seeing Tyrael as the final pickup here, which is not an odd choice because now Sonya can go very, very aggressive, the Sanctification getting dropped and allowing Sonya to just whirlwind up her health pool. Additionally, Tyrael is essentially a warrior support, providing more protection for Falstad and Jaina, and additionally more movement speed for Jaina to get in and out of the fights with Smite. And the final pickup coming from team We Play for Keeps is Valla. So what's interesting here is Thug Money Squad has opted for plenty of DPS and burst DPS at that. On the other hand, We Play for Keeps is actually not showing any burst potential. They have Thrall for poke, Zul is not going to burst anyone down, and Valla is certainly not going to burst anyone down. So I'm actually concerned for We Play for Keeps here, largely because of the fact that they don't have any way to burst down anyone on Thug Money Squad. And if they don't have any way to burst someone down, Sanctification will get tremendous value because the person will be sitting at half-life. It'll be easy Sanctifications to drop. Additionally, Rhaegar will be able to get off easy Ancestral Healings. And if you get off easy heals, well, you're actually not going to kill anyone. And if you're not going to be able to burst down the Ancestral Heal, well, you're going to have a hell of a hard time actually killing someone. What they're going to have to rely on is some good ganks from a combination of Muradin, Thrall, Zul, Brightwing. So Brightwing is going to probably be in the mid to bottom rotations, which means the polymorph into the root done, and finally the sustain damage from Valla to help finish off whoever the target is. So they're going to have to play for picking off individuals, and that's pretty much how I see them winning this game. So we'll be getting into the game very, very shortly here. Map is loading up at this very moment. Based on these two drafts, who do you guys actually believe have taken this home? So like I said, I feel Thug Money Squad has brought their OG comp out, and Play for Keeps are going to have to play the long game to get those keys. Once Muradin gets given the axe, they'll be in a much better position to play for keeps because now they'll have a lot more damage coming out across their entire lineup. In comparison, the scaling of Sonya gets better and better too. So for Thug Money Squad, we got Tay on Jaina. We got X-Blade X on Sonya. Pretty appropriate name there. We got Wee Man on Falstad. Another very appropriate name. Clean on Rhaegar and Chi on Tyrael. And finally, for We Play for Keeps, we got Virus on Thrall, Laz on Brightwing, Super Tall on Muradin, the oxymoronic name, and a Witcher on Zul. Finally, we have Heron on Valla. So we're going to have our beginning footsie battle going on here. Everyone positioning for it right now. Looks like no one's actually going to be trading blows, which I like. Normally, people are too busy playing footsie in the center here, not really accomplishing too much. Virus taking a lot of damage, going to be going down, and Super Tall having to leap on out, and he back in, and there is a lot of damage coming on out there from Heron with that Moldy shot. They looked like they were going to go in for another kill, but they actually turned it around slightly, got off all that damage, scared them away, but they still lost Virus pretty quickly there. that's one of the things. A lot of these heroes on We Play for Keeps just scale better and better. Someone like Thrall keeps scaling better and better because he has more poke potential as he gets his Q talents. He gets more burst ability once he picks up things like Follow Through and Giant Killer. So we're actually going to see in kind of opposite way of both teams rotating against each other in opposite directions. But We Play for Keeps are doing what I was talking about, which is they're looking for some kills here, but they're not going to pick anyone off here. They are going to just rotate down. And in the meantime, both shrines have started. And so quickly looking at the talents, we are going to see Gathering Storm, Colossal Totem. That's a little bit of an odd choice nowadays, especially after the nerf to Totem. Basically made it very trivial to blow them up, especially with Bala there. It's pretty easy. We do have Wee Man coming on top. They do not manage to get Virus, but that will mean top shrine is in control now for Thug Money Squad. However, that does mean it is a 4v2 in bot lane, so they're not going to be able to stop Play for Keeps for getting the cap. No one will be able to get the dragon at this point, but it is still a 2v1, so I'm going to have to capitalize on this situation as much as possible. And with the Zul there, I think they're going to actually win this trade. Zul will just keep pushing. Tay will have to sit there, and they're going to have a 4v2 and 3v2 situation on bottom. If Chi and Clean are not careful, they can get a pick off here. So 4s have been hit across the board. We're going to actually see Static Shield coming out. Spirit Walker's Grace, another slightly lesser used talent. We do have Brightwing coming on top, but Virus is rather low again. They do not manage to pick him off, and Blaz manages to walk away as well. So there are now 3 members of Thug Money Squad on top. They are ahead slightly in XP, but they are not actually capping the DK at this point. They are probably going to lose one of the caps, I'd imagine. We do have Ballin out, bottom, capping bot. And so once again, just going back and forth. They are slightly ahead, like I said, in XP, but it is not enough to... So the other talents, we're going to see Lingering Chill and the Arcane Intellect coming on out. I mean, Jaina has a lot of builds you'll see nowadays. I kind of am surprised that they didn't go with more sustain because they already have the burst. But X-Blade X, however, getting blown up there, and they did trade it out, though, for an early game DK. So it's pretty worthwhile here. They'll get those towers down. They'll make something happen with it, get some more lane pressure. And, you know, going for that kill isn't really going to gain them too much. But then again, it's an early DK. So it really comes out to be a slight advantage for Thug Money Squad for trading out the kill. Or trading out X-Blade X's life for a DK. Other towns we're going to see picked up, we're going to see Even in Death, so we're going to see more blow-ups, bigger blow-ups, and abilities for Imperial to catch those runners. Additionally, Swift Retribution, so additional movement control, and ability to get Jaina in and out along with Sonya. X-Blade X is, though, going to get rooted down, and Super Tall is looking for a pick here, but he leaps on in and has a major whiff with his Stormbolt. No one else going to be going down at this point in time, just 1 kill apiece for both. And we actually have Jaina now, who is on top. A Virus, who's pressured for most of this game so far, is going to have a much easier time, in my opinion, against Jaina, unless Tay can play a great Jaina. I mean, right now, he can easily kite him. He does have that Lingering Chill, which provides him with extra time for kiting whoever he's hitting with his spells. And 7s have also now been picked up. We got Warpaint, Focus Attack, Follow Through. We're going to see the Reciprocate come on out, so some extra damage from Tyrael. We got the Boomerang, as expected, Cleanse, Frostbite, and we got Wee Man coming on in, but he's not going to actually hit with that hammer. Virus is pretty much going to walk away full health since Brawl does have great sustain. In the bottom lane, however, we are seeing engagement, and X-Blade X is potentially going to be going down here, but a nice cleanse coming out from Clean, preventing the root. Likely meant the death of Sonya there. So we have the traditional Q builds coming on out, and Wee Man getting pushed out of that lane. He does now have to pull back. This is actually a great situation for Virus. He's finally got breathing room. He has pretty much full health, full mana. There's absolutely nothing stopping him from pushing this. However, in the meantime, they did pick up the siege, which is going to apply additional pressure in that bot lane for Thug Money Squad. And they already did pick up the first DK, and they are roughly the same, both teams, in terms of XP right now. We're not seeing anything too crazy. We're going to see Backlash being picked up after the nerf to Shade, Healers, and Rathma's Blessing. So Zula is going to have an easy time staying alive and just like poking down lanes. Tay, though, getting caught out with a bone prison, but no one to follow up and actually help him try and take down Jaina. Top lane, once again, Virus is getting harassed by Sonya and Falstad. At this point, though, they have not managed to take him down since the beginning of the game, and our heroics are now going to be finally picked up. It is a 3v2 situation right now with Witcher coming on in now, and there comes the root going on to Clean, and I don't know if they're actually going to get a kill here. It looks like they just backed on out, playing safe. They're not really being all that aggressive. Don't want to fight underneath the tower. On the other hand, Weeman and Xblade X have finally pushed down one of the towers in top lane, which will now make it a much easier situation. However, Virus does have his tap up, and he'll be okay to go. And he did win the fight against Falstad before. There go the Frost Mages and the Sanctification, but the body blocks are good enough to prevent him from getting in just for now. But they do not manage to keep Tyrael alive, like I was talking about. There's another kill onto Vala and Brightwing. Zul going down now. Super Tall is going to be joining his buddies in their coffins. The nice rotation from Thug Money Squad to respond to that. And the fact that they all stood there for Tyrael's explosion is really silly. I mean, there was no reason to stay there. They had already picked up the kill. They weren't going to get anything else. I mean, Clean was behind a wall at that point, unless they were going to do something crazy like dive over, blow up the wall, and go for Clean. I'm actually surprised that Clean didn't land his Ancestral. Like I mentioned before the match started, they're largely not a burst team. Like there's not enough burst damage to really cause someone to die before Ancestral goes off. Ancestral came out then way too late, and it was actually very nicely done from Heron to drop that Rain of Vengeance, which secured the kill. It provided the additional burst they needed to get Tyrael down. However, it may have actually been worse because Tyrael dying actually did damage to them than if he probably stayed alive. So 13s have been picked up. We're going to see Mighty Gust, Flow Rider, Nothing Out of Ordinary, Tidal Waves, Imposing Will, which is really going to hurt against Virus and Vala. And finally, we're going to see the Mystical here. One thing I do want to point out was Leap was actually picked up here, which is fairly atypical, but with a Falstad and a Falstad and a Jaina, there's pretty much no reason they need that extra damage, so they can dive into the back line, or technically the front line, since there's 3 melee, and just fight them and just, base tank them. So top is being caught by We Play for Keeps. And at this point, they do have some bruiser pressure. They'll get another tower here, but it's still pretty. They are in a much better position right now, Thug Money Squad. However, they're definitely not out of this game by a long shot. There hasn't really been a whole lot of team fighting going on. It's been mostly top lane, some action, and bottom lane action. So they are going to manage to get this DK. Nothing they can really do about this. They were pushed out by Xblade X, which is a very nice job. And 13s were picked up, so they are on even talent here right now. Is a roughly 10-minute DK, so it'll get more work done. We'll see how aggressive they are, though. We got Tyrael, who is in top, and Thrall, who is continuing the soak. But there goes Xblade X with the leap, and Heron vaulting on out. There comes the Ring of Frost, catching absolutely no one. Heron dropping that Rain of Vengeance, and he has now been booted out by Weeman, but they managed to catch Rhaegar thanks to that Frost Mage. Weeman is now already using his barrel roll, having to use that Gust, and they'll walk away with pretty much just the tower. They trade out a tower for a kill. So works out in their favor for the most part. And then Super Tall is still on the chase. There comes the sun, and that is one dead Sonya. And this is the opportunity for We Play for Keeps to pick up another fort. If they pick up another fort, they're all of a sudden back in the lead structure-wise, and that should potentially put them on equal XP footing. They are now on Wee Man, and Wee Man is going to be joining his brethren in their dirt graves. So there goes the fort. The XP advantage is now slightly in We Play for Keeps. So We Play for Keeps now can go and pressure the center fort. With the center fort getting pressured, they can potentially pick up 16 before, as long as they don't get picked off at all here. We got Chi circling around though, and Chi is looking for engagement. We do have Virus though coming on in. This will be the first time that Virus has actually joined this fight, and they're probably not expecting this. They're not really paying attention. There goes the Sanctification, and a huge Thunder coming out for Virus with the Frost Mages coming on down. JT is going to have another death over there, and 2 members of Thug Money Squad have just been annihilated. Virus just sitting there nice and patient, waiting for the rest of the team to walk on out was absolutely perfect. There comes Ancestral Healing, but they managed to blow him away, Wee Man. That is not going to do at all with damage that Virus now has, thanks to his Giant Killer, Tempest Fury, and Follow Through. That's essentially the burst that they were lacking in the early to mid game. Now that they have Follow Through, Giant Killer, and Tempest Fury, if they can lock someone down and Thrall sits on him, he is going to absolutely annihilate him. And now this is going to be the first DK of the game for We Play for Keeps. They've done a complete 180 here, where they were being pressured most of the game. They lost some of those early fights, and now they're ahead both in kills and structures and XP. This is everything you could want. So We Play for Keeps are doing exactly as their namesake. They are marching on down for the very first keep of the game. Statistically, you get that first keep, you win the game. It's pretty much that. So Tyrael has been booted all the way back, and X-Blade X is very, very far out. And they do have Sunder available to secure this kill, but the Sunder is going to miss due to the lead X-Blade X, but they do pick up Tyrael here instead. So Sunder was burned, but Chi was trying to save X-Blade X, but actually Chi wasn't needed whatsoever. X-Blade X could have gone in out of there, and they would have walked away with, you know, a trade of Sunder for lead. Nothing really too crazy there. At this point, this keep is going to go for We Play for Keeps. They're delaying it a little bit with Gust, but I don't know if that's going to be enough to stop this. So Witcher is just melting that keep, and there it goes. At this point, they are now going to just walk away thanks to those Frost Mages, and there's absolutely nothing they can do. Super Tall, however, is looking for another kill, and Clean is getting caught out there from a stun from Super Tall, but it is not going to be enough. Super Tall does land a nice stun, but his team wasn't close to follow in post the leap. So, I mean, Clean just walks away, and no big deal there. So We Play for Keeps are now in the battle for level 20. At this point, it's really going to be hard for Thug Money Squad to come back from this. They're going to have to unify as a team, communicate a little bit better, and pay a little bit more attention. I mean, Thunder from Thrall that came out was fantastic, and that pretty much caused this snowball effect as they lost team members. But no one actually paid attention to the fact that Thrall wasn't there whatsoever, and that he wasn't in the top lane. So if Thug Money Squad can get together, calm and collected, and get a really good Sanctification, they can win. What they also want to do right now is actually try to fight pre-20. However, 20 is going to come very soon for Play for Keeps. So the 16th hour pick up Airy Gust, Earth Grasp Totem, Northern Exposure, the extra damage, so even more burst. We got Holy Ground and Nerves of Steel, giving her more sustain. They are rotating on up onto Wee Man, and Wee Man is probably going to be going down here if he is not playing safe. There goes Super Tall. He manages to land that stun in the Sunder from Virus, but a very nice instant cleanse immediately after Sunder from Clean. So at this point, ult has been burned. No ults burned on the side of Thug Money Squad, but it is a 20 versus situation. They are going on in right now, and there comes this Sanctification yet? And there it goes. Sanctification has been dropped, and they are cleaning up this fight, 20 versus 19, and there is going to be an absolute bloodbath. This could potentially end the game if they play this right. The death timers are long enough for them to get a keep at the very least, making this game a one keep apiece match. They have taken down 3 members now, and they are going to get themselves a DK, pretty much guaranteed. Thrall, however, is sitting and waiting. This might actually be the death of Wee Man right now, which is going to like put a big damper. And Wee Man goes down from Virus, flying in at the absolute worst moment in position. Basically, just running on in to give Virus a kill. I mean, Virus was obliterating him in the top lane, and the fly pretty much ensured his death because he didn't fly into the bush. And when he didn't fly into the bush, he can actually start off with any damage or even dodge the Feral Wolf, which then rooted him, and he took all those hits to the face. However, Chi is now on top of Virus, and they still do manage to get the DK, but they are down a person, and they don't have the man advantage anymore, and they're pretty much going to have to play for taking down the front walls, maybe getting a keep. They will get Muradin up a little bit before they get Falstad, who can fly in, but I mean, he's going to have to walk out of the base to get up to them. Have been hit by both teams. We're going to see Epic Mount being picked up, Storm Shield, Cold Snap, Hardened Shield. On the other side, we saw Bolts getting picked up. Raised Mage. I don't think I've ever seen Raised Mage picked up by almost anyone. Jaina, though, is getting picked off here. There comes the Frost. There comes the pause. So the Frost and Feral Wolf coming on out, getting the root. A nice Sunder coming out from Virus. And with the Frost Mages, I don't see how they're going to walk away from this at this point. They don't have Falstad with them. Falstad is not going to get there in time to gust them. Oh, fortunate situation. He may have had a lag spike right as got out. Fortunately, that's how the cookie crumbles. Rhaegar is lagging out. Okay, so in his positioning was far out at that point. Well, now been caught out. And with the Frost Mages, there's absolutely no escape. It doesn't matter that they have a cleanse. The rest of the team is out to die. And once this team dies, they can go core. I mean, there's going to be 3 members of Thug Money Squad down. And with 3 members down, they have a DK that's not going to do anything at this point, and pretty much has to be abandoned. The DK, unfortunately, not getting much value now, and potentially the game being lost by Thug Money Squad now. Okay, so we're going to have to sit it out and wait it out temporarily. Other towns we saw picked up, we're going to Hardened Shield, Storm Shield, and Bolt of the Storm. So we can fully go over now that there's not as much going on during the pause. Backlash, Jailers, Rathma's Blessing, Skeletal Mages, the Corpse Explosion, Skeleton Mastery, and finally Raised Mage, which I said is pretty odd. You don't really see this very often. Raised Mage does increase their slow, but I don't actually know if it was really needed here. The additional damage from Bone Spear, or even yeah, Bone Spear is pretty much what I would think they would go for. But then again, now with Thrall dumping all that damage, they've been bursting targets down pretty well, and Ancestral Heals have generally been coming out what I'd argue are late. So for Muradin, we saw a pretty standard build coming out. The only thing that's a little bit different was Piercing Bolt. His Iron Forged Momentum nowadays, and Imposing Presence was additional pickup here, which you'll often see. Heavy Impact is especially popular in the Korean meta. there they go. We got Clean back in. And Wee-Man actually managing to get any time, but Heron coming on in with a big Rain of Vengeance. But they don't actually get anyone. Wee-Man responded absolutely perfectly and was already flying on up during that pause. So he got there in time, got the gust off, and saved the day. I mean, pretty much that game was going to be won immediately by We Play for Keeps if he had not gotten there in time. So the other odd thing is Imposing Presence. It makes sense, but it also doesn't, because Heavy Impact adds another stun into Soul Belt of Muradin, and given the axe, just gives them even more damage. To be fair, if they don't feel they need it and they just want to reduce the damage being dealt, with Imposing Presence is not a terrible choice whatsoever. It's still a strong talent. For Brightwing, we had Hyper Shift, Manic Pixie, Face Shield, Blink Heal, Shield Dust, Critterize, and Storm Shield. Now that We Play for Keeps have blown quite a few ults, and quite a few ults have been blown on the side of Thug Money Squad, it's pretty much a reset at this point. Both teams are just going to do what they can to apply pressure. However, X-Blade X is coming on in with the rest of Thug Money Squad, but Super Tall is there ready to catch this out. A huge leap coming out from X-Blade X. There comes the Sanctification, and the Sunder is already been used. Not too much getting done there, but Laz is getting pretty low. There comes a Rain of Vengeance, hitting 3 members of Thug Money Squad, and this is going to be the turn that they want and need. However, there is going to be the blow up, and they take out. It is now 4 for 1, 4 for 2, 5 for 2, and that is very likely going to be the game. They can march onto the core. They have Siege Giants, Bruisers, and double catapults. And the initial fight was going in their favor, but once again, as soon as they got out of that, I mean, the Virus's Sunder did pretty much nothing due to Sanctification, but they managed to hold on through, and Heron's Rain of Vengeance was absolutely crucial. Catching 3 members in it just did so much damage, and all that damage was what secured them that game.
Red team is victorious.
So tonight's winners are We Play for Keeps. They started off a little shaky. They were down a little bit, never really out of it, and then they just made a major turnaround. Once Virus joined them in the fights, basically it was a completely different game. They just had too much sustain from Brightwing for the AoE, Thrall can self-heal, and then when Heron was landing such huge range of Rain of Vengeances, it's good night to the other team. And you can see Jaina only had 30k damage through the entire match. That's less damage than Tyrael, Sonya, than Falstad. I mean, it's literally the lowest damage out of anyone who's dealing DPS. So in terms of talents, nothing really out of the ordinary, I believe, that came out. I already talked about Muradin. The Colossal Totem, a little bit odd, only because of the fact that totems were nerfed and they're super easy to destroy. So you normally see things like Lightning Bond, extra speed in Ghost Wolf form, then generally Feral Heart. Instead, he picked up Spirit Walker's Grace, which is absolutely fine because he then also picked Tidal Waves. And for Jaina, we saw Frostbitten, Ring of Frost, Ice Barrier, Northern Exposure, and Cold Snap. This is a little bit odd too. The Snap, I mean, has improved Ice Block, but I guess it's kind of a toss-up there if you feel Ice Block would actually, save you or not. Finally, from Tyrael, we had Even in Death, Swift Retribution, Reciprocate, Sanctification, Imposing Will, Holy Ground, and Hardened Shield. The Sanctification that she dropped was absolutely on point, negating the Sunder. Unfortunately, the team clumped up way too much, and that clump up probably cost them what could have been the game on their side. They had gotten the kills early. Their Tyrael did go down, but he did secure an additional kills for Thug Money Squad. But because Heron's Reign of Vengeances have been so good this evening. It just basically tore him apart. Finally, for Sonya, we saw Warpaint, Focus Attack, Follow Through, Lead, Nerves of Steel, and Ignore Pain. So they felt they didn't need the extra damage, but I mean, looking at the numbers, I mean, Sonya still did the most damage even without Wrath. Maybe they would have been better off with, the Wrath here. I mean, it's pretty standard to pick up Wrath, especially in the case where Jaina really didn't perform to the expectations of what you'd expect from a mage. Finally, from Thrall, pretty much standard build all across for the extra burst by Follow Through and Giant Killer, Tempest Fury. And then finally for Zul, we had a pretty standard build coming out: Corpse Explosion, Skull Mastery, and oddball, the Raised Mage. But it shows it. They won. You can't knock it if they won. Then we had the Hypershift builds coming on out. You're seeing kind of a combination of both being played now, the Mist build or the Shield build. So either one works. I think a lot of people feel the Mist build is slightly better Shield build nowadays. But, I mean, did a great job keeping his team up overall. He actually out-healed Rhaegar. And unfortunately, if Clean's ping was high, maybe that was the cause for a lot of Ancestrals being missed, because there were very, very few Ancestrals that I saw that were, clutch Ancestrals to keep them up. Finally, for Vala, we had Composite Arrows, Manticore, Searing Attacks, Reign of Vengeance, Frost Shot, Executioner, and Bolt of the Storm. So this is a little old school in that people go like the full auto attack build now, and she decided to pick up Composite Arrows and Frost Shot combo with that Executioner. I mean, there's pretty much full on slows, roots, or stuns in any team fight. So Vala just pumped out a ton of damage. I mean, she had 55.9k, but at the end of the day, Virus was the highest DPS for. So this is an interesting hybrid she went for, and it worked, because she had the extra range to stay out of fights, not get caught potentially in a leap. And with the Frost Shot, they just had a lot of CC. They had Sunder, Frost Mages, Suns from Muradin, Polymorph from Brightwing, Reign of Vengeance, and the multi-shot. Everyone had something to slow and CC people, hard CC and soft CCs. On the other side, they did have only one hard CC. They had a lot of soft CC, and maybe that was part of the reason they couldn't capitalize. There wasn't enough hard CC on the side of Thug Money Squad. Played it pretty well in the beginning. Their team fight at the very end there was generally pretty good, and I felt that if they actually fought, they could have won. I still believe they could have won that. It was a matter of positioning, where three members all got caught out by the Reign of Vengeance, resulting in them losing that team fight. As you can see, it was 10 to 15 kills, pretty even for the most part. They did fall behind, but they managed to take an 18 versus 20 fight, which was pretty unbelievable. I did not expect them to win an 18 versus 20 fight. They went for it. They won it. Unfortunately, they couldn't fully capitalize on it once they lost Wee Man when he went bottom. But that is your game tonight. We Play for Keeps, doing a great job, showing great coordination in their team, and generally a solid draft from both teams. But they just played much better and were able to play for those keeps and win the game. So congratulations to We Play for Keeps.